wait for just a moment because I'm a minute early, and I hope I don't get a phone call. I just missed one. I don't really have time to get set up because it's almost Shabbat here in Jerusalem. So I'm going to make this one quick, but I want to put in as much energy, consciousness, focus, power as I possibly can when I can. So I sent out an email today. This is day 2 of our 6 weeks to Metamorphosis and Miracles. Sent out an email just a little while ago. If you're on my list, you saw it. By the way, if you're not on my list, sign up for my free Kabbalah e-course at the link below this live on YouTube or anywhere. And also join the Telegram group, because those are the 2 places that you'll be informed. You'll find out what's happening when. I'm not scheduling these over the 6 weeks at a regular time yet. I don't know if I'll get to that or not. Just because I'm going to stay flexible, I need to stay flexible. So I want people to be able to have a way of finding out when something's happening. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the intention of this 6 weeks. I talked a little bit about my process. The email that I sent out a bit ago to people on my list, I explained a little bit about what I've been going through, just a very little bit. So I'm going to explain a little more here. Since the war started in Israel, we moved a couple of times. The first time, because we didn't have a shelter in our house. We lived in this, we own this little historic property, old stone house that plaster is sliding off the walls. The ceilings are 13 feet high. It's got looks over a valley, this incredible valley where, across the valley, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar, is buried. But anyway, there was no shelter in that house. So first we moved to an apartment of a friend who was not in their house. They did have a shelter. And then after 6 weeks or so there, we ended up having an incredible opportunity to move back to Jerusalem, to the building that we lived in a few years ago for about 5 years, which we really like. So here we are. And since that time, I've been going through ups and downs. I'm working super intensively on my book, which is right now working title Metamorphosis. I may change it to Metamorphosis and Miracles. Feel free to give me your thoughts on that. I'd love to hear your feedback. By the way, hi Edna, I will be looking for beta readers. As soon as I finish the editing process, which is probably going to take, with my editor, it's probably going to take about another 5-6 weeks, something like that. Then I'm going to look for a few really dedicated people who have skill, who are literary, who want to read it, who can read it fast, who are going to be able to tell me, what's boring, what's confusing, what do you want more of, what would you like to see added, changed, shifted, just so that I can make sure that this book is embedded with energy. It's embedded with so much intention. I can't even tell you that I was writing a book anyway, starting about a year and a quarter ago, maybe a little more, even a year and a half ago, maybe. And the topic, it was similar kind of material, but much less edgy. And a mystical artist, rabbi, Kabbalist in Spot, really urged me to write this book instead. And this book is really, and this feeds into the topic of this entire 6 weeks. This book is really about what it takes to create a genuine metamorphosis. A genuine metamorphosis. What is a metamorphosis? Again, look at the caterpillar, look at the butterfly. It's a 2-fold process. The caterpillar has to melt down into gel. And the butterfly has to be activated by the imaginal cells that are already part of the caterpillar but dormant, that carry its future DNA. So we have that caterpillar self and that butterfly self, and the events that are occurring that are so turbulent and challenging are here to help melt down our worldview, our identity, our belief system. Is it comfortable? No, it's not comfortable. It's really not comfortable. Melting down is not comfortable. Usually birth is not comfortable, but if you align with it, it gets a lot better. It gets miraculously better sometimes. Nevertheless, if you're anything like me, or most of us in our soul tribe, you're having significant periods of things like anxiety and overwhelm and confusion, and whether, as a spiritual seeker, you are conscious of it not, probably a fair bit of grief and also rage. At least those are things that come up for me, up and down periodically. So as I'm engaging in this book, it's a quest. It's pulling me deeper into my quest, which is why it's so utterly fantastic that I shifted to this more edgy, ambitious writing project, not based on certainly there's so much about what I know, what I've learned with myself, with my students, with my clients over many years. There's so much Kabbalah wisdom, there's so many transformational tools that I have just as part of my brain wiring now. But there are levels that I don't know yet. I mean, maybe that's a duh. But even on a basic level, like what does it take to truly, authentically, consistently be able to transform and co-create miracles? What we all know that from the popularized quantum physics, what the belief do we know, the secret, the law of attraction, we all know, at least theoretically, that our consciousness helps to co-create reality. We can experience that if we play the lime green card game, or there are lots of different ways to play with that. And it's definitely a fact, but it's a little bit random, right? I mean, people who teach it say, this, that, the other thing. But first of all, there's a God factor. There's a soul purpose factor. You can't short circuit the things you're here to elevate, the things you're here to encounter, the things you're here to learn, the things you're here to transform. You can change the process though, like birth. You can't skip the phases of birth. That's not safe, right? There has to be the proper, appropriate path of development, and then the proper, appropriate path for the baby to get from the womb out into the world safely. You can, in a certain way, short circuit it by cesarean, but that's rough, right? That's, and apologies if somebody has had cesareans and it's not, I haven't, but it's, it's a hack, it's an intercept. We can, there are many things that we can do in any case to create or to facilitate that process of birth, but that the steps have to happen. Basically, there has to be some kind of journey from conception through gestation, through the birth process to the actual birth. And that's just basically where we are right now. Once the baby is born, it's a giant world and a lifetime of development, growth, accomplishment, potential transformation. So that's basically, we are moving right now from one epoch or one era, one phase of human evolution, of cosmic evolution, to a completely different one. And we've done the gestation. It's done. It was done apparently by around 1991, 1992. Like it was an era that in Kabbalah was called Tikkun Amidos, or Biru Nitzutzos, the rectification of the world, the elevation of divine sparks. It's a certain, I'm not going to spend time on, I'll talk about it in the future. I've talked about it in the past. I'm not going to go down that road right now, but it is a certain kind. It's a certain paradigm. It connects us to a certain morphic field. It requires a certain morphic field. It has certain laws of cause and effect. It has to be done in certain ways. It's a certain relationship with God, with ourselves. Basically, it's a world of separateness and darkness that corresponds to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's what showed up in the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve ate from that tree, internalizing the voice of the snake, internalizing the energy of the snake. All of a sudden, imprinted in the human psyche was, confusion, was an inner voice, was self-judgment and criticism, which is always out-projected to judge others and criticize others, and to be fear-based. What happened when Adam and Eve ate from the tree? Grief, sadness, fear, blame, shame. So those things are what we've been carrying around, and it's been necessary, believe it or not. Again, there's so much I could say about this. In my school, I talk about it all the time. In my courses, I talk about it all the time. But what you need to know is that it was a certain phase of creation, like gestation is a certain phase, and the birth is a certain phase, and the birth canal, that transition, the transition is shorter. The transition is like a channel between the past and the future, and that's really where we are right now. So we are out of that original phase. We're not yet fully in the coming phase. Actually, Kabbalah calls the ending of the original phase, the moving out of that original phase of elevating the sparks of tikkun, of rectification, calls it Kates Hayamim, the end of days. I'm sure you've heard that phrase. It's connected with the beginning of the end of the exile, the gullus, and the beginning of the redemption. It's connected with this part of the Messianic era. It's like the rising up of the darkness that's been hidden so that it can be transformed. It's like everything is, if you're experiencing that, everything's coming up in your face, you know, anxiety, overwhelm, fear, shame, blame, rage, like I said before. You're seeing things that you never thought you would see. Your brain is shocked. Your heart is shocked. You're exhausted. I don't know if it all the time, some of the time, I'd be very surprised if there's anyone here that isn't feeling those things at all, and many more. So that's part of the process called Ketz Hayamim, the end of days. It's the end of an old era. To end it, you really have to see it. Like, how do you end an old habit? If you're really destined to make a powerful transformation, you have to see what's been going wrong or where you've been until now. Chassidus says that in Hayom Yom, the Rebbi says that, a book called Hayom Yom, the Rebbi says that that understanding and seeing the illness is 50% of the cure, 50%. This is part of the meltdown and metamorphosis. So that's Ketz Hayamim, the end of days. But then there's another very similar phrase that's exactly part of the same process, but on the other side. It's like if you're familiar with my chart of human design, Ketz Hayamim, the end of days would be like the left side of the chart in a certain way, in a fractal way, and Ketz Hayamin, which is the end of the right. So Yamim, days, is very connected to this word right, Yamin, like the right hand, like the right side. So that is the imaginal cells. That's like the destiny. That's like the end that takes us into the future. Right in Kabbalah always represents chesed, divine kindness, love, flow, potential, goodness. So we have the end of days, we have the ending of the old, which involves seeing it. That's the meltdown of the caterpillar in a nutshell, tiny nutshell. Then we have the Ketz Hayamin, the end of the right side, which also is days in Aramaic, which is the envisionment and the leaning into the seeing and the understanding and the beginning to align with a new field, a new morphic field, a new matrix, a new potential of the future, a new destiny. Again, there are worlds in here that we can talk about in the future, but for right now, for today, I want you to know that it's this twofold process, just like the chart of human design, just like the metamorphosis of a caterpillar. It's a recognition and melting down of the old. We can consciously melt things. It's part of what we want to work on doing in the next 6 weeks. And the activation of the imaginal cells, or the digging in to the true heart soul desires, that guess what? You want those things. God wants those things for you. But we're here with a purpose. So oftentimes, and each person, like I said before, has a soul journey. You can't short circuit the transformations that you're here to perform and the wisdom that you're here to acquire, etc., the sparks that you're here to elevate even still. So God wants us to do the work, or to use the Kabbalistic terms, to make the vessels that will support our higher version. Oh, I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Sorry. I'm just going to tell my daughter. I've never answered the phone on live stream before. Bracha, I'm on a live stream. I'm on a live stream. I'll call you back. Sorry. Okay, where was I? Where were we? So anyway, we are, as we melt down the old, that like the caterpillar gel is the raw material for a butterfly. The butterfly can't be created without using that raw material and upgrading it through the imaginal cells to a new version through that DNA. So we cannot upgrade fully and completely, sometimes not even partially, or not very much, if we don't actually see and melt down the old identity, the habits, the beliefs, the attractions, the wirings that we had before. And that includes, those things include or create a connection to a certain matrix or morphic field that that I'm calling the trauma matrix. It is the trauma matrix. It's the matrix of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the Eitz Hadas. It's the matrix of the snake. It's the matrix of judgment and separation. It's the matrix of sadness, grief, fear, rage, like I've been saying. All of those things are created intentionally by God, like the caterpillar. Why have a caterpillar if you're just going to end up with a butterfly? So when it comes to the actual caterpillar, I don't know. I think the whole caterpillar butterfly thing is created as a living metaphor for us. I really, really do. I think it's specifically for these times that God created caterpillars in the first place. Because why not go straight to a butterfly? But with us, it's obvious. With us, we can understand. Once we know a little bit of mystical Torah, we can understand that these original states of caterpillar being, of snake being, that of pain and trauma, fear, shame, rage that we experience, they are the raw material for our transformation. They're specifically the things that we're here to transform, because God wants to be revealed in the darkness. And through revealing God in the darkness, through revealing your soul in the darkness, through revealing the purpose, through elevating those sparks, you actually create vessels to shine infinite light, not just out from the outside in, but from the inside out. We are transforming and building ourselves through the work that we do. The darkness holds back our light, but our light propels us, our soul, our inner godliness propels us to transmute that darkness, to illuminate that darkness. And then once we do, we have revealed a new level of soul, and the work that we've done has created vessels, channels to hold that level. We're making ourselves, we're creating ourselves, or rather co-creating ourselves. I love to use that word. So I'm just going to check my notes. I don't want to go on long today because, like I said, it's Shabbat is soon. So we have developed, based on the trauma matrix that's been going on for, according to Jewish tradition, in this cycle at least 5,784 years now, and moving into the 85th. So that's been mostly trauma. That's been mostly all of these things that I keep mentioning. And it's been really hard. That's the human condition. And our brain, our identity is now formed around that. Not only that, but we have developed cell receptors to pick up fear, danger, victim, helpless, threat, unfair, being taken advantage of, don't have what it takes, hopeless, all of these things. I don't have to go into detail because we all know what that feels like. And here's the thing with when the brain is used to certain things, and it's not just the brain, it's the body, it's the cells, but when the brain is used to certain things, especially lifetime after lifetime, especially when it's also passed down through our genetic line, especially when we're part of a collective that is connected to these things forever, that forms a solid identity. And it creates brain wiring and cell receptors that literally are like magnets to pull in more of the same. So you know how we get addicted? How do people get addicted? They develop somehow, and I don't know what the right word for it. I'm not actually an expert in addiction on a professional level, but I certainly know what it feels like. We develop, as we indulge in addiction, the more you like, if you start eating sugar, you want to eat more sugar. If you start, drinking, you want to drink more. I don't know what, your drug of choice, whatever your drug of choice is. If you start yelling, if you get into a, nasty mood. So the more you yell, the more you want to yell. It's like what's happening is the cells are already wired that way. They have cell receptors that are already like satellite dishes, looking for reasons for that, feeling the cravings, trying to convince you to do more of the same, because that's how identity works. That's just how identity works. That's how we're wired. So in order to change that, so we are naturally magnetically attracting more of the trauma from the trauma matrix. That's actually what's happening. And that's why it's so hard. That's one of the main reasons why it's so hard to change. That's one of the core reasons why you feel so frustrated so much of the time, why it's so tiring, why it feels impossibly hard. But I want you to understand, it's like an addiction. It's the brain is fooling you. The brain is creating these thoughts, generating these thoughts, generating these cravings, generating and supporting these beliefs. It's happening on a cellular level. It's happening on a technical level. If you were a machine, a computer, it's your program. It's a program that's running. When a program runs on the hard drive, it is not the hard drive. It's just software. It can be replaced. It can be turned off, quit Word. You press quit Word and Word stops running. You press and you clear an app on your phone, the app stops running. You've got your ways going and it's talking to you, you clear it and it stops. And you can start a new app. So that's the level that we want to address. That's the level that I'm very, very excited to address in the 6-week challenge. Why am I calling it a challenge? Because I'm challenging myself to go all in and see what I can change in 6 weeks. I've been working, this is my 3rd day, okay? By the 2nd day yesterday, I've been reclusive since the war started. I did a summit, a short summit on prophecy. I pushed myself. Other than that, I've hardly shown up except for my inner circle paid students. But 2nd day of working on changing the wiring, and all of a sudden I'm out here doing live again, interacting with you, thinking about creating things, feeling incredibly upbeat, excited. It doesn't take that much to experience a shift. Where it really takes something is to be committed enough that when the cravings for yelling, being upset, feeling like a victim, feeling helpless, eating, drinking, drugging, sleeping, whatever it is that your drug of choice again, whatever it is that your cells are addicted to and your wiring is addicted to and you're habituated to, this is the default program. So you have to remain conscious for a certain amount of time and continue to notice. Remember, 50% is noticing. Continue to notice when there's something that is connecting you to the old field, and then do something. We'll be learning and talking more about these some things that you can do to shift to the new field. And at first, it's going to be hard. Maybe not at first. At first, there's always the honeymoon effect. Well, there's often the honeymoon effect where things seem really easy. Did that ever happen to you? Put me in the chat if you ever felt like, I've got this. I finally got this. Why was it so hard before? I'll never eat chocolate again. I'm not even tempted. And then like 2 days later, or whatever it is, 2 days later, a week later, it's like, how could I have ever thought that I had it? And then next, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why do I keep staying in the same struggle? You guys, I want to hear from you. Okay, Vanessa says, oh yeah. Who else? Part of the challenge is interact. I want you to engage. If you show up for these lives, I want you to at least say hi. Hi, Norman. Chag Purim Sameach. Yeah, times of transformation. She'en kamo. There's never been a time like this. There have never been 6 weeks like this of Purim, Adar, Nisan. The times of transformation, liberation, miracles, supernatural energies in the era of the shaking of the universe. God is shaking off the snake energy. So we want to align and participate. So anyway, yeah, ups and downs. It feels like it's going to be easy, and then it's not. So it takes a certain, I just want you to be aware, it takes a certain persistence. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do it with you if you want to do it with me. We're connecting to a new field. It takes persistence, commitment, whatever that is, like power. We all have power. Let's exercise that power, use it or lose it. Like we might feel helpless, but we're not. But our cell receptors will pull in any evidence that tells us, yes, you are helpless. Yes, the world is so bad. Yes, it's taking so long. Yes, I'm just a little person. What can I do? I'm even, can get really bad. I'm a waste of space. What's the point? What's the point of even being here? It can get really bad, and it's all happening because of our focus and a misunderstanding or a lack of understanding of what the game is and how it needs to be played. That changes everything. The context changes everything. But then there's the practice. Then there's the steady commitment that will actually change your default. So at first it's very hard. Why? Anybody know why? Hi, Gila. Hi, Charlene. So good to see you. Jennifer, good to see everybody. Anyway, why does it take time? Why is it harder at first? Anybody want to venture a guess? Why is it harder at first when you attempt change? Yeah, first you'll have that excited vision, like I can do this, but that's because you haven't actually engaged yet. Thanks. I'm playing with new hair coverings. I have a bunch. Anybody? Why is it harder at first? Come on, you guys. Why is it harder at first? Engage with me. Let's go. Engage with yourself. Engage with your life. Engage with your potential. Engage with the miracle potential of this time. Why is it hard at first? Why is it hard to change your default at first? I'm just going to be quiet till someone answers me in the chat. Uncertainty. Okay, that's a good answer. Anything else? This is really important, so don't be afraid to make a mistake. I want to hear what you think. Consistency is important to make new routines habitual, okay? True. Why is that hard? Why is it hard at first? So uncertainty. What else? It's breaking a habit. Okay, say more about that. Anyone? What is hard about breaking a habit? Old habits die hard. True, but why? It's fighting against your programming. Yes, it's fighting against your programming. And here's the thing, and I want to say this with intention. I really want you guys to absorb this. Your programming is not only thoughts. I don't think I've ever really talked about this before. Not the way I am now and am about to for the next 6 weeks. It's not just in your head. It's not just your beliefs. It's not just your automatic that you've gotten used to. It's not just the emotions that follow and the actions that follow. That's the circuit on the left side of the chart, that seemingly unbreakable circuit, which is very breakable if you are knowledgeable enough, wise enough, supported enough, and committed enough. Old program became biology. Yes, old program became biology. So the old programming affects your cells. Literally, your cells will be like radar dishes, like I said, satellite dishes, pulling in, searching and pulling in any evidence, first of all, the emotions. Your body creates neuropeptides, messengers, chemical messengers that absorb the emotions that you're literally addicted to. Our default program is addiction. We're addicted to it on a biological level. And yes, the ego thinks it's dying. Yes, of course, there's the mental, the consciousness, the emotional, but there's also the physical. And that we're going to be addressing all, but that is the piece that I think is crucial right now for us to go that deep, that we look into the body and we understand that the default programming is in the body. Just like if you eat sugar, I mean, has anybody here ever had an addiction to a food or drink or something or drug and you broke it? Smoking? Please say me, and share what your addiction was if you're comfortable to do that. I'm assuming yes, but I want to hear from you guys. Any addictions that you succeeded in breaking? Can be addiction to anything. It's staying up late, cell phone, news. Okay, I'm looking for more engagement here, you guys. This is a challenge. This is not just information. This is potential metamorphosis. Take advantage. So nobody broke any addictions? Never? Quit smoking. Great. Gib. Mazel tov. Congratulations to you. That's amazing. Jennifer recovered from binge eating. Awesome. Gila was addicted to Facebook. Okay. Yeah, Norman, it's also in your environment of relationships. We're starting to get a picture of how huge this is and how multi-leveled it is. But cigarettes and staying up late. Wow, 2 addictions. That's so awesome. Internet in general. Yeah. So the smell is better. So there are many advantages to breaking addictions. Here we're looking to break the addiction to exile. We want to break the addiction to the morphic field of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, of the snake, of the human condition of suffering, of repeating the same old thing over and over and over and over again, of attracting and living in the trauma matrix. Who wants to keep living in the trauma matrix? Anyone here? If you want to keep living in the trauma matrix, you should probably go to a different live stream. I'm really sick and tired of the trauma matrix. Sick and tired of it. Hopefully not sick, but we all, a lot of people are getting sick and a lot of people are tired. The trauma matrix is pulling on us, just like the identity pulls on us, just like the relationships, the environment of relationships, our relationships, the people in our lives, we've trained them to interact with us the way that they do. We've trained them. And we've all agreed on those things. So people will pull us back. People will be upset often in your life if you change the contract, even though the contract might be very unstated, but it's there nonetheless. So there's so many aspects that will pull us back into that trauma matrix, back into exile, gullus, back into the past, back into those default habits. That's why we are doing this now. I'm on day 2 and I'm like, I'm going to offer this Wait, we still have half of Adar. This is really like a pre-launch because it really launches with Purim after Shabbat. So consider yourselves early adopters and please go share this. Like and share right now, by the way. Like and share right now if you find this valuable, because the more people, the more transformation for real. I shared this yesterday, but it's so fascinating. I want to say it again. I recently read, because I was doing a little research for my book, and I try to check the facts when I'm writing about something. And I recently read a few weeks ago that the imaginal cells of the butterfly, that at first, when they start to activate, the caterpillar's immune system perceives them as foreign invaders and tries to kill them. Does that sound resonate? Does that resonate with anybody? The caterpillar immune system sees the imaginal cells that are pulling it toward a far freer, better, bigger, and more miraculous, magical life as foreign invaders and kills them off. And when does that stop? They start to cluster together, the imaginal cells. And the more they cluster together, obviously, I didn't read these words, but obviously the stronger their vibration is, and the more light they produce, and the less they seem like, that loser, like aberration, black sheep, get rid of it, the more they seem like social proof is a big deal. It starts to seem popular to the caterpillar DNA. Okay, maybe I'm mixing my metaphors here, but that's how it works. So when we cluster together, when we gather together and we are committed to up level and we support each other and we draw from the new field that exists, it's God's field of redemption, and from the Torah, from the techniques of the future, the healing of the future, we draw from that. That's what it means. Imaginal cells, like Einstein said, the imagination is the what was the word that he used? The preview of coming attractions. Maybe I have that wrong, but something like that Einstein allegedly said. So the imaginal cells are actually, and how many times the Rebbi, if you're familiar with the Rebbi, I can tell you if you're not, countless times the Rebbi said, open your eyes and see Mashiach. Look, the Redeemer, look, live Geula, live redemption. Open your eyes and see that it's here. It's here. So why don't we see it? We're tuned into the wrong station. And not only we're tuned into the wrong station, we're addicted to the wrong station. And our biology is addicted to the wrong station. And our relationships, not the new ones, but the old ones, the groups that we belong to are addicted to the wrong station. And our consciousness is addicted to it. Our habits are addicted to the wrong station. Our emotions, our beliefs, our identity. Okay, so is it stacked against us? Only when we stay inside that little circle. It's literally like sewing a button on again and again and again. Inside that little loop, yes, you're stuck. It's like we live in this little snow globe. That little man and woman in front of the little house, and shake it and the snowflakes fall. But there's a giant, giant cosmos out there. And as soon as we understand that we're not actually, it's like the Truman Show, right? We think that this is the whole world. No, it's not. You're just your cells, your wiring, your everything we just mentioned here, your relationships, the matrix that you're connected to, your beliefs, your identity, et cetera, and your actions, of course. We'll talk about it more. Are all connecting you. They're tuning you into that station. They're connecting you to that matrix, the trauma matrix. So if you want to be disconnected from the trauma matrix, yeah, the identity is scared of, but Diana, you're 100% right. The identity is addicted to comfort. We call it the comfort zone. People die to stay in the comfort zone. Literally, I've seen it happen more than once. It's horrible. I mean, we're all in a certain sense, killing off our potential or doing things that are not healthy for us because it's our comfort zone. What it means is it's our familiar zone. I write about this in the book also very extensively. And it's our wiring and it's our biology and physiology and our field and our relationships and our habit and all of it. Okay, yes, it is very profound, Gib. And that's what we're going to change our program, our defaults. We're going to start, one moment at a time, one decision at a time. And we build a new program. Remember, we established already, it's hardest in the beginning. We established why. Let me just check my notes and see, make sure I say what I want to say. Yeah. Okay. I won't say everything, but we have 6 weeks here. Okay. So this Adar, this month is Adar, Purim is coming up Saturday night and Sunday, or in Jerusalem, the ancient walled city, Sunday night and Monday. When I first moved here, I was shocked, stunned to find out that we didn't celebrate Purim on Purim. We celebrated the next day, but now it's so special. People stream to Jerusalem from all over the country because they finished their Purim and now they're starting with us. So anyway, I'm very grateful to be back here as much as I love Tzfat, which I adore Tzfat, but Jerusalem is where I have to be right now. So Adar, if you look at the Torah calendar, it starts with Rosh Hashanah. That's the first day it's the Jewish New Year, the Torah New Year. But that's from one perspective. There are two different perspectives, like two different opposite sides from which you can look at the calendar. One is the natural order that starts with Rosh Hashanah. The year starts with Rosh Hashanah. And the other is the miraculous order, the redemption order, like order of the day. So they also call it the winter months and the summer months. So it's like you have a wheel, but you can transpose the holidays and the energies of this 6 months onto this 6 months in an opposite way. What does that mean? So each month of the winter months of the natural order months correspond to a summer month or a miraculous order month in a lot of ways. So if Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the year from the natural order, so Nisan, which is coming up in a little more than 2 weeks, is the Rosh Hashanah of of miracles and redemption. So if Elul is the last month of the year before Rosh Hashanah, what happens in Elul? We meet God, we work with ourselves, we do tshuva, awakening, return, we assess what we need to correct, what we didn't do, and we make the preparations so that we can download a completely new kind of year, completely new kind of life and world. We're channels between God and creation. We totally are. What we do affects everything. So correspondingly, the opposite 6 months of the miraculous order, Adar is the last month of the year. We have a little bit more than 2 weeks left of Adar. Adar, we also want to return and awaken, but in Adar, we do it not so much through introspection, although that's always useful. We do it through joy. Purim is the epitome of joy. So we bring down the potential and the muzzle of Adar through joy. That's what we're working on for these next 15, 16 days. Yesterday, I gave you the assignment. If you weren't here, I'm doing it now. Gave you the tool of a bracelet, or if you don't have a bracelet, get something that you can wear and easily move. Whenever you have a thought that's negative or complaining, also if you say something that's negative or complaining, switch your bracelet. That's it. No judgment, just switch your bracelet to the other hand, or whatever it is that you choose to do. And then the other assignment that I have for you is to get ready to celebrate Purim in the most joyful way. If you're Jewish, you can do the mitzvahs of Purim. You can look them up online. Maybe you already know what they are. If you're not Jewish, you can also download that tremendous power of joy and transformation. Now, we do it through every day of Adar, but Purim is like the launch point. Purim is like the cosmic node. So you want to tap into that energy. And the way that you tap into that energy and all of Adar is by doing things to make yourself happy, doing things to make other people happy, and doing things with other people that make you all happy. That's the PowerPoint. That's the tool right now. So I want everybody, when we're going to end, because I got to go, I want everybody who's here, and also if you're listening to the replays, I want you to type to comment. I'm going to make a point of looking at comments. I want to know at least one thing, if you're going to do this bracelet, first of all, are you in the 6 weeks challenge? If you're in it, be in it to win it. Remember, it's hard at first, or maybe it's hard a little after first. So far, it's not being hard for me, but I'm so committed right now that I'm not letting any moment pass without making the shift and proactively doing the upgrading. I'm using a whole bunch of tools that I'll share some of them with you as we go along. The bracelet is one of them. So happiness is another. You can put on music. You can get up and dance. Like Tony Robbins talks all the time about changing your state. You want to be a master of changing your state. Okay, so if you find that you're a little down, get up and do something. I want to know if you're in. I want to know if you're doing the bracelet. And then I want to know if you are in, what are you doing on these 3 areas. Make yourself happy, at least one thing between now and Purim. On Purim also counts, but you want to be working on this every day. If you're in it to win it, it's got to be every day throughout each day. 6 weeks to change your life and to change the world. By the way, we all know that more turbulence is coming. Everybody who's in our tribe has a sense of what's going on. A part of the sense we have of what's going on is we have no idea what's going on, but we know that it's, there's a dark side fighting for its existence, and they're planning things, and we get rumors and whatever of what they're planning. If you want to talk about it, maybe we can talk about it at a later time in specifics and how we can help prepare for that. But the main thing here right now is that we have the power to transform. And when we align with God's power and the potential that he embeds in these special times, when we align and we make vessels to download that, to hold it, to integrate it, and to use it to live it, we literally change reality. We literally change reality, especially when we're doing it intentionally. So we are an army. We're a holy army. So are you in it to win it? Yes or no? I want to hear from everybody. Yes or no? You can say no, and you can still decide later. But I want to know where you are now. Are you in it to win it? Yes or no? Are you doing the bracelet or ring or whatever works for you? Yes or no? And what are you going to do to make yourself happy, someone else happy, and to be happy together with other people? I'm doing, I hope, 2 parties on Purim. That's with other people. I'm listening to music, what I normally wouldn't. I'm doing so many things, jumping up and down. I'm being much more pleasant than I might otherwise. When I'm irritated, I'm just ramping up. Remember, this is the pre-launch. So what are you doing? I'm going to be looking at the chat. Let me see what you guys said. These breaking addictions is awesome. Seeing the power of the now. No trauma drama. I'm so done learning through trauma. It's time to learn through joy. You know what? I'm right there with you, Jennifer. I've thought so many times in the last 6 months, really, like I say to myself, I said to myself, really, just when I'm getting liberated, I've got to be dragged back here. I've got to now focus on like the horrible. And I cannot help but see with total clarity that more trauma, when you're over traumatized, does not wake you up more. It shuts you down. And some of us can experience being extremely shut down in very toxic ways. So no, we want to up level. We must up level. We're here to do our purpose. There's no getting around that. You cannot short circuit or avoid your purpose. You can't. You have a date with destiny. It's every moment, but you can't avoid it. But you can choose to do it through joy. You can upgrade it. And that's what we're talking about. Unknown and discomfort. Okay. Just quickly scanning here. Plasticity is the capacity to be shaped, molded, or altered. Oh, this is a quote. Thank you. Neuroplasticity is the ability for the brain to adapt or change by creating new neurons and building new networks. Yeah. Oh, interesting, Gib. All right. So the world breaks down. Yes, that's exactly right, Gib. As the world breaks down, it doesn't only allow people, ultimately it forces people. This is prophetic. People have to reassess everything. The question is, do you want to be in the end of the train, or do you want to be helping to guide the train onto the smoothest track? For yourself also. This is all for us. It just happens to be that when we change ourselves, we change the world. Okay. I don't know if this is G-A-L, Gal, Georgia. I don't know. Sorry if I'm misreading your name. Shalom from Palm Desert, California. I caught this when I looked at YouTube. Yay. That's what happens if you're not subscribed to my YouTube, subscribe, because then you'll catch it when you look at YouTube. Also, please join the Telegram so we can chat. Stay in touch and really, really ramp up our co-creating the new matrix. Not co-creating it really. We're connecting to it and we're bringing it down into this world. We're grounding it down out of potential into actuality. The more people connect to a new morphic field, new matrix, the more stronger it gets and the more easy for everyone to connect. This is really co-creation. There's no question about it. Okay, you are not the only one. But see, that's how Imaginal Cells feel. I'm the only one. And they're all attacking me. That's why I think this is so funny when I found out that the Imaginal Cells get attacked by the caterpillar immune system. But once they're 2, once they're 5, once they're 100, once they're 1,000, once they're 1 million, we're in the millions now for sure. Maybe a lot more than that. but not everybody's connected to each other. So we want to connect. That's something you can help me do. I'm in, says Vanessa, journaling the hidden miracles. That's an incredible, powerful way to change your wiring. Yeah, let's also share. If you're on the Telegram, let's share ways to change our wiring, our successes, our derailments. It's not bad if you have a derailment. It's an opportunity to upgrade, right? To see what we didn't see before. 50% of the healing is to see the trigger, the illness, the problem, the virus. I'm going to Purim Suda meals and dance with children glow in the dark. Beautiful, Norman. We need courage to step through the wall. That's so true. Okay, music, dancing, singing, bracelet, dance, chocolate. I'm having a happy Purim party. Hi, Sydney. Dance and sing now. Well, how about around people, Gib? Even if it's online, like even if it's by telephone, let's get up and we won't see each other and let's just dance or something. Let's up our game, you guys. Up it, up it, up it, up it. Whatever we do now is good, but if we would like a better default than what we have, a better everything, then we have to up it. Up our game. The joy is going to be interacting more with people in real life and expressing myself more on my channel. So that's great. I just want to suggest that for now, each day that we leave, this is going on longer than I had really had time for, but I just want to make sure that it gets through because the potential is so vast and the need is so real and so profound. Be specific. Each day, be specific. At least one specific intention, one person, one act at one time, right? Concrete, measurable. What do they say? Specific, concrete, specific, measurable. What are those three terms? That's the kind of intentions that we want to set here. Also general intentions, but when we say I'm going to do something more, I was going to come back and live stream at some point soon. Then I was going to do it soon. And then I was also going to do it soon. And it was only when I started to do this specifically, leaning in with every ounce of focus I can muster. That's when all of a sudden I'm like, all right, now I'm going to do it now. Even though I don't feel it, I'm doing it now. Getting on it this time and doing this thing. I'm sending an email. Yesterday I said I'm sending an email to my list tomorrow morning, and I did it. So yeah, I'm in it to win it, says Mary. Charlotte, I'm in more time in the park, getting bracelet, more journaling. Okay, I got to go. To those of you who are sharing, I really appreciate you, and I want you to know that you're doing a co-creative act when you're sharing. You're inspiring yourselves. You're grounding your intentions in reality. When you put out something in front of other people, it brings it down to a whole new level. God is part of that. And the rest of you, whoever hasn't done that yet, I'm encouraging you to do it. I'm encouraging you to do it. Let's bring it forward. Let's up our game. Let's change the thing. Let's get rid of our connection to the trauma matrix. It's enough. It's enough. Let's speak to God. Pray to live our purpose, for the insight, the guidance, the support, the green light to live our purpose through joy. But to do that, we have to commit, and we have to do things to bring joy to yourself, to others, spouse, friends, employers, employees, kids, neighbors, community, students, teachers. It has to be specific things with specific people. So for yourself, for others, and then to be together with others. You can do something for someone else, or you can gather together with other people and do things together. And all are important. All make new vessels to bring in the Adar potential, this incredible spiritual source of Adar that will prepare us for the Rosh Hashanah of Rosh Chodesh of Nisan, which is the month not only of Passover, but of miracles and redemption. We'll say more about it. Okay, take care, you guys. This was at least twice as long as I planned, but I'm happy to be with you. See you hopefully on Sunday. Shabbat Shalom and happy Purim. Sunday will be Purim.